Hello everybody and welcome back to Speed Force Racing. My name is JB and I'll be taking you through tonight's proceedings on this, the fourth and final stream here at Australia for the first week of SFR. And what a week it's been already. What can the Premier Division give us though at the end of the week? But as normal, I am joined by someone who's incredibly fast, faster than me, drives in an orange car. No, not Lando Norris, no, not Carlos Sainz, but he is a champion. Hello to you, Jonas. How are you doing?
I'm great, thank you. How are you?
I am absolutely fine. It has been a wonderful week in SFR, hasn't it? It's been a busy week this week, hasn't it? The first time we've run 4 divisions.
Yeah, for sure. It's something new for us, but I think we're handling it well, and hopefully we can just keep grinding and make SFR bigger. It's a fun journey that we're on right now.
Yes, we definitely are. We're having so much fun. I mean, at the start of the week, we had GP4 go out for their first runs ever, and that was a phenomenal event. Next week, it'll be streamed by James, and we're yet to find his co-commentator out, so he'll be having fun over on Monday night. I'll be off on Tuesday night, joined by, I've got a rolling commentator for Tuesday, so that should be fun. Maybe it'll be you, Hal. Maybe it'll be someone else who we don't even know about yet. Wednesday night, we'll have GP2 where me and Hal will be taking to the track, as always. Hal, how was last night for you?
Well, it was a great race. I worked myself from pole position, actually, in the race, and lost the lead in the start, and got a P2, so I'm really happy about my race.
Yes, versus me,
How
I
was
actually
your
had the
race,
battle.
JB? Yeah, we had the...
Yeah, well, you
battle.
overtook me. No, I had an alright race. I started P16, got in a few contacts, had a big battle, and ended up in P8, which was all right. I was a little bit disappointed with P9 initially, but then JB Organ had us puncture, and that gave me P8, and that was good for a first outing in the Ferrari. But yeah, so we actually had a wet qualifying though, didn't we?
Yeah, was actually really enjoying the wet weather in Canada, to be honest. Really something that I didn't expect, because I'm usually very bad in the rain, to be honest, and maybe it was my setup that suited the conditions. I don't know, but it worked, and I actually got myself a pole position, and which I'm really happy about.
I mean, we now found out how difficult this track is on this game in the wet weather, especially on low fuel in the wet conditions in qualifying. That was really difficult, wasn't it, Hal? I don't know about you, but I had a few moments where I had a straight line, a few chicanes, because I was a little bit so I just couldn't get it go.
Yeah, one of my laps I felt like I was more sideways than I was the correct way, so yeah, it was very difficult, and yeah, what can I say? Really something, or it's really testing your driving skills as much as, yeah, having the practice needed for the track. So it also was a bit of a strategic qualifying, as it was drying up a bit. So having or setting up your timing to be one of the last cars to cross the line was very important, and
All right, rub it in. I didn't manage to do that.
Then...
I didn't manage to do that.
Well,
all right, fine.
Well, then you got probably some more time to find than in the wets if you weren't qualifying at the end.
No, I messed up the timings. I went out for a time in a point where I should have been in the pit lane. But I don't know if you looked at it. The intermediates were initially faster, but I stayed on the full wets for a bit.
Yeah, I tried the full wets for the first round. I was in the party with a couple of guys who went straight out on the inters, because they checked the delta before going out,
That's what I did.
which I didn't. So yeah, they found out that the inters were quicker, so I just hurried back into the pits and switched it. So
well, it wasn't that. Initially, it wasn't that much quicker though. That's the thing with it. It wasn't that much quicker. So I took a fuel, go out on the 4th.
Or 5/10 maybe in the start.
7/5. There's still that, but again, if you damage the car, total, doesn't it?
Yeah,
do you think, Ryan?
Yeah, it was hard. Oh yeah.
Just make sure that you hit spectate for me. Don't want to have you in the car.
Oh yeah, I keep forgetting to do that.
So last season we didn't have a Premier Division because the Premier Division folded and we could not get enough drivers to run it. But we have some returning faces such as Tuzmoose, James Braden, and Nick. Nick's joined us as well. Mike as well. So a few more drivers coming in. We've got Perez returning. He likes it over here. He's come back every time we've reopened the Premier Division, hasn't he, Hal? But we've got some new faces as well.
Of course you do.
It's just gonna be a great season, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I'm really excited about following it and see how, of course, how some of my own personal favorites does it, and also the quickest guys. It's really just spectacular to see what kind of lap times they can do here in the Premier Division. You don't see probably the kind of pole times that we're gonna see tonight. Will be probably miles off back in GP2 and GP3 and now also GP4. So
well, that's
how it should be, at least.
The thing with the GP2 division, our comparison is completely out the window, seeing as we were doing it in the wet. So we couldn't run full speed, could we? Well, I ran full speed a few times, and I had a few scary moments.
Yeah, you're not pushing hard enough if you don't have some scary moments, Oh,
obviously not. But one thing I want to notice that we haven't mentioned before is actually how much more diverse the Premier Grid is to drivers running under different racing licenses. You see in the other divisions, it's most likely you'll see the British flag or you'll see the Norwegian flag because we can't get rid of those. There's the giggle, I was ready for that. But in the Premier Division, we see a lot more diversity. We see a few people turning up with Greek flags, with the Mexican flag of Perez, with Tuzmoose and the Hungarian flag. It's great to think that these drivers who are racing under different licenses, they might not actually be from that country, but racing under different licenses, it's all good to notice that these guys are going to have some fun. But one noticeable mention is that in the Renault team now is Mike Bundy, as we were given the command to head over the track. Mike Bundy, who won GP2 last season, didn't he, Hal? He won it commandingly. Now coming into this division, this might be more interesting. It might be more his speed, isn't it?
Yeah, I think Mike will be probably one of the quicker guys, but I think he'll be more challenged this year than last year. But I have faith in Mike. He's a quick guy, so I think a lot of people here is gonna struggle with having to deal with him.
Most definitely, and he brought his teammate Honey Badger up as well. Those two were such a strong pairing, the Flying Dutchman and the Battling Brit were such a strong pairing that Renault decided that they wanted them in the car rather than Mercedes Premier Division, as a Mercedes Premier Division decided in turn not to take on one of those two instead, both electing to move to the French outfit. But we're heading now to qualifying. This is where it all counts on this track because it is difficult to overtake here. I don't know if you found that, how things I let you through at turn one.
Well, you like to think that you let me through, but no,
I could have battled more. I was on about 54% worn tyres and you pitted about a lap before, so there was no chance.
Yeah, it was... if I didn't overtake you, it would be looking very bad for me, so...
Oh, thanks! Thank you, Podge, for that sweet comment. You're still one of my favourites, Podge. So, as we head on to track now, what's the weather conditions going to look like here in Melbourne? Is it going to be wet like it was yesterday? Is it going to be dry like it was? Oh, it is nice and dry here, and we've got quite an odd... Got no delta. Oh, there it is. The delta's on. So 14 drivers are going to go battling here in, where are we, Australia? We have Tuzmoose in the McLaren, Perez in the Racing Point, Samu in the Haas. Sorry, colours have changed. James Braden also in the Haas, Honey Badger in the second Renault, Mike TMR, get that right, in the Alfa Romeo, Primo, I will call him, or Primeo, I'm going to call him Primo. Primero, okay, got that right, thank you. In the Ferrari, Raikkonen is in the Toro Rosso. No, Raikkonen is in the Red Bull. Try that again. Ollie is in the Toro Rosso. Nick is in the Racing Point. Liverpool, who is a reserve driver, is in the Ferrari. Mike Bundy, GP2 champion, is in the Renault. P. Walters in the McLaren, and Glock is in the Williams. He's just come out on track alongside Tuzmoose. Tuzmoose is running the number 13, so making sure that someone has to run number 13 in every video. I think at least as Basil K has joined us, he will not get a qualifying lap though, so he will have to start the lap on a completely green setup. That's going to be very difficult for him. Dry race and dry qualifying, we have been told. This will get nice and fun, won't it, Hal?
Yeah, then we'll probably see some times dropping towards, I would guess, towards the 120.0 maybe. I don't think we'll get under 120, but you never know, it's Prem, so some of them might surprise me.
Looking forward, though, to these races, there are minuscule rookies here. Primero and Liverpool, I think, are the only rookies in the field for this race. This is going to be interesting. This is the only field that we think we only have 2 rookies in. We know what all of these drivers can do versus their previous time in SFR on the old game. This is going to get really fun to compare those times, and especially comparing the new equipment that we brought for the 2019 season.
Yeah, and it's fun to see the 2 Norwegian pairing in the Ferrari, which both are rookies, and it's also Primero's first ever league race on the PlayStation. He's used to racing on the PC in a couple of divisions there, so it'll be fun to see what he can do over on the right side of the league divisions.
It seems like Duzmus, excuse me, it seems like Duzmus has better at that time. Now looking at the 95 car, excuse me, the Williams with the hard tyres on of Glock. This will be interesting to see. Is he doing this to get a little bit of practice? Williams had a stellar race last night in GP2, but I don't think they raced in either division before, did they?
Yeah.
A little bit of lag there, affecting as Samu retires from the session and must have been contacted in sector 1 and 2. You're back, hello. Sorry, we lost your voice for a few seconds.
Oh, that's weird.
There's a bit of lag affecting us. So looking at Glock now coming through the fast chicane. This chicane was horrendous on worn tyres, and Glock may have just invalidated the lap time. He looks like he's still going right now. But still, these cars pushing on as hard as they can. I think I've messed up my sound system somehow in my headset, because I can't hear the cars at all right now.
No, I don't have any sounds from the cars either.
Okay, so we have lost sound from the cars, so it's a game issue. Samu leaving the session, so that's not a good look for the Haas team already. Glock crossing the line, P1 time of a 1:22.5, and now the fun begins as every driver gets ready to pout and show what they can do in these new cars. The number 14 of Perez charging up towards the fast chicane now in the racing point. Will it be racing point or racing no points? Or racing points multiple tonight? Who knows?
Good time there from Mike. Almost.
Oh, Bundy!
Bundy's out. Wow.
The GP2.
On the hard tires, actually.
The reigning GP2 champion has had an accident somewhere on track. As P. Walters goes fastest in the McLaren.
In the fast chicane, he lost it out of Bennett into the wall at the right side.
Mike Bundy is going to be ruining that. He didn't do it in pit lane. The number 30 Norwegian driver in the Toro Rosso is having some fun. I do like the Toro Rosso this year. It's a brilliant onboard, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. It's one of the best looking cars, if you ask me. And yeah, also a beautiful man in the man who's now P11. As we see Primero going up to P3 with a 21.1. Good time there from him.
As we said before, we've had cool drivers rookies, but they aren't rookies necessarily in league racing. They might be rookies just at SFR.
As Lee says that he's trying not to laugh, I guess he's referring to the retiring of Mike Bundy.
I mean, we've got to be nice and impartial. Yeah.
But look at the time from P. Waters. He's brought the time down to 1:20.4, and that's a very rapid time around this track. And
it's a phenomenal lap time. What can Ollie do there? I think that
actually could be close to pole time today. Maybe a couple of tenths quicker, but yeah, it's a really strong time there from Waters.
Yes, Samu, we are aware there's no game audio. That's for everyone. We haven't got it on the stream either, so you're gonna have to deal with our voices. Maybe if you're lucky, how much they're going in the background.
Yeah, I can be the.
Quick, let's get our phones out and start playing the sounds from the Australian Grand Prix in the background. We're children, aren't we?
Yeah, for sure.
The 93 Ferrari of Liverpool is coming up through the final couple of corners. It's great to see a Ferrari on track without the number 13 on. That's normally me. Pulling into the final couple of corners now. What can he get up to?
I think it's his second lap, so I don't expect it to be that quick.
It's going to be around the 122 mark, 122.5, yes. There's a clear gap right now in qualifying, isn't there?
Yeah, as I said, Waters' time is really something, and it's early in the qualifying as well. If it was at the last couple of seconds of the qualifying, I wouldn't be too surprised. But it's very early, and yeah, that's very strong there from Waters.
Looking at the number 15 Renault as he sets up his time, the only Renault left in this race. So we'll have a look at what happens. Obviously, there should be 14 drivers on track. We've lost 2 after accidents, and their cars have failed. So Honey Badger starting his lap time now. What can the Flying Dutchman do? He finally got the championship, which he so harshly wanted in last season, though it was only the Constructors' Championship. Do you think this season, Hal, he's going to push for the drivers as well?
Yeah, Honey Badger is one of the more rapid drivers that we have on the grid, and I think if he can keep his head cool, I think he will be one of the drivers to watch for the victory in the championship, to be honest.
We got Ryan saying that P. Walters can get a 1:19.5 apparently, so he can go even faster than that.
Possible?
How many corners did you cut to get that lap time, P. Walters?
Yeah, he must have had some kind of shortcut around the track.
He took the Red Bull 2010 around there, the Gran Turismo one.
Yeah.
Actually, to be fair, I wonder if that is still faster than the Grand Prix cars.
I have no clue, mate.
I know they did another one, the 2014. But Honey Badger, now we've been following him on this lap. What can the Renault do as he gets close to the grass? I skimmed that yesterday and it almost cost me the race. Putting us through here, looking very comfortable is the number 15. Into the final couple of corners. Again, no game audio. This would be very disconcerting for the drivers. They're all driving Formula E cars. Up through the final corner now. DRS opening on the Formula... Oh, we've got no DRS. Honey Badger has got no DRS. Let's just watch him through this sector.
Yeah, it looks that way on the timing as well.
Yeah, I'm on board. There is no DRS active on Honey Badger's car. That's going to sorely hurt him in this very, very competitive qualifying field as Nick goes up to P2 in the racing point, showing that the 75 car has got some pace tonight.
Yeah, that's a good time as well. 1:20.6. Really strong time there from the Greek.
I've just been informed that apparently James Braden has got the 2-2 wing glitch. So he's driving with a front wing glitch on the game. Of course, we've done 3 other rounds this week. No issue whatsoever with glitches. Of course, it gets to the Premier Division, and then there's glitches everywhere. There's a Ferrari, though, off at the inside track. I think that was Liverpool getting out of the way. A little bit disconcerting the way he did get out of the way. That would have really scared Two Smooths as we follow him again, the Hungarian, in the McLaren. Feels odd to see someone else with number 13. I have to say that.
If you look at the Primero, he's coming into the final sector and is 4/10 up on his time. So if you still can improve that time, it will really be a good time and can compete with the top guys here.
The number 21 Ferrari skimming the grass a little bit as he heads towards the penultimate corner. Now up around the final corner. What can he do in this Scarlet Speedster? The DRS opening. This time it does open. Heading towards the line. Now it's a quick time. It's a P4 time though still. And that shows that he's got time to find, unless he was absolutely ragging that. I think I'm going to go past a lag from him.
Even though, if you get under 1:21.0, I think almost everyone here should be happy with that. That's a very strong time and shows that you really want to watch on this game, to be honest. It's yellow flags in Sector 2.
Looking at different drivers, we're looking at Glock once more. I'm getting about a lag from the game. Hopefully that's just me. It's Glock's off! Glock's off! He's spinning! And he's managed to get the car out of the barriers. He does skim the barrier there. The 95 Williams, very lucky. And he's going to sit there and count his chickens very quickly. Because what an accident that was. It just looked like he ran out of turning on the wheel and he just went right off. Williams, did you not do the wow? P. Walters a 120.260. That McLaren, rapid IRL, rapid in GP2, rapid in Premier.
Yeah, extremely rapid in GP2 actually. So
There's another 95. P. Walters also running 95. I had to give you some boost, but I'm a Ferrari driver, so you're a moron.
of course.
It's alright. I'm looking at a return to Red Bull next season, potentially.
Yeah. Is it anyone out on the lap right now? I think
James
Tusmus
Braden.
maybe.
James
No,
Braden
he's
with
on a
his
slow lap.
with his two wings now. DRS opening. What can he do? He'll be absolutely phenomenal on the straight. So everywhere else, he's going to absolutely surf.
It's a good lap or
Crossing the
decent
line.
lap from
P5.
James. P5.
So unless he's able to rectify the glitch without leaving, who would know? Tuzmus. He's on a slow lap right now. Here's Ollie.
Yeah, Tusmus on a slow. Ollie's down on this time, I think.
Oops, says Ryan. How scary was that for you, Ryan? That was a phenomenal. Honestly, that accident. I'm playing it back in slow motion, like yeah, there is. Luckily, we got a new comms box this season. We got a new comms box, so we got nice new toys to play with. And we got a bar in here somewhere. We actually got the key to the bar this year, didn't we, Hal?
Yeah, still in the pause between the. I'll find myself. You'll find me there in between the race and the qualifying, or the qualifying and the race. So yeah, it'll be a different me in the race. That's for sure.
Why do we make up these little silly anecdotes to make? We're such children, aren't we?
Yeah.
Here's James Braden, who's on, I think, a slow lap heading into the pit lane. So we'll go on board with Perez, who was definitely ragging that car by the looks of it, coming into Sector 2 now, the 14. It's odd to think that number belonged to Fernando Alonso. Now you look at it in the game, he's just thinking, oh, that's Perez's number, isn't it?
Yeah.
So what can the 14 do? Coming up, oh, he skips the barrier. That's a heavy hit on the barrier. Luckily, no damage on the Racing Point as he comes up through towards the far chicane. What can he do? Does he do a Bundy? He does not do a Bundy. Woof. So the Racing Point is looking strong today, especially with his teammate who's up in P3. Big lock up there for Perez as he heads into one of the left-handers. And now back round onto the... Whoa, flirting with the gravel like I flirt with girls at train stations. Fourth time I've made that joke this week. Through the final corner now. Burst of energy from the back end of the Racing Point towards the line now. Very disconcerting to hear the sounds without any engine noise. And he's 2 tenths quicker, but he stays in P8.
Raikkonen now crossing the line into P2 with a 120.4. Really good lap there from Raikkonen.
So we have Raikkonen, Perez, and Glock on track at once.
Doesn't get any better than that.
2010. No, because Raikkonen wasn't racing in 2010, was he? He retired.
If you're asking me, I'm asking you.
He retired in he only came back when Lotus asked him in 2012.
He wasn't. Was he doing rally? Wasn't
Yeah, it was off in rally.
he? Yeah, that's a Nordic thing to do.
DRS open now on as Raikkonen actually retires from the session with 3 minutes to go.
Wow.
That might be dangerous as Glock goes up to third.
P3.
Now he needs Perez to join in. We'll have all 3 of the F1 drivers up there.
Yeah, that would be something.
Perez is on an in lap to the pit stop. Here's Primero, who's going to come up right behind the Racing Point. Whoa, big catch from Primero in the Ferrari. Into the penultimate corner now. Bailing out, seesawing the steering wheel as he pulls into pit lane. So Perez actually going for another lap on the medium tyres. Hello, Marco. How are you doing? Very rude comment there. So yes, we do apologise for lack of no game sound in this. It's just down to the game versus us. Here's the other Racing Point of Nick. Again, they're all driving Formula E cars. This is SSR Formula E, and I'm so happy that we finally got this. To be fair, if a Formula E car looked like this, it'd look horrible. Formula E, I like the
It's a
Formula
good
E
time
look.
from Nick here. If he can keep this up, he can fight with Mike and Glock for the top three.
Still, though, no one really touching Walter's time, and guess what? He's out on a lap again. What has that McLaren got in it that you had yesterday?
We got a boost button from that we didn't tell anyone else about.
Crossing line now, it's going to be really quick. It's going to be a 120.5. Wow. He's right there. That's very
really
close. That's scarily close between him and Glock. Look at that.
Yeah, very impressive.
Perez, I think, will be betting into pit lane this time round. No, he doesn't. He was a 10th down on his last, 10th up on his last time. There's a flying piece of carbon fibre from the car ahead. That looks to be a McLaren. Crossing the line is Perez. He goes 7th. And it was Tuzmus that made contact with the barrier. I think Tuzmus has a damaged front nose. Let's have a look. Yeah, that's heavily damaged on the front left of the McLaren. And that's very unfortunate. That might be qualifying over for the only Hungarian on the grid.
Ole also had a damaged front wing. Don't know what that came of.
Let's have a look. Oh, he's got no front wing. And he's cutting the course to get back to the pits quicker. Oh, naughty, naughty.
I don't think he'll help getting back to the pits, though.
Well, nothing will help him get back to the pits quicker. He's only got 30 seconds after the session, but you still don't do that.
No, it's not good to do that.
No. Naughty, naughty. I swear, we told him enough. Here's Liverpool. He's 4 tenths down. Oh, he's 4 tenths up in sector 1, but it's all gone wrong. And Tuzmus is out of the session! Just on board with the Hungarian driver, and there's a big smash at turn 15. Turn 15 at the far chicane, sorry. It might be turn 15, and the McLaren out.
Not too scary, but Waters is over a 10th up on his time.
Where is the time on this track? Where is it? Because I want some.
Yeah, I don't know where he finds it, but clearly his car is quicker than anyone else's.
The McLaren is not going to fall foul as his teammate did at that section of the track. I've got to say that was a fantastic piece of camera work for me, just select Tuzmus at the right time as he crashed. There is a yellow flag ahead, and that is a car off track. That's Perez. Now Walters turning in. What can he do? Is the McLaren going to go even faster to embarrass Raikkonen, who's already in P2?
I think so, actually.
Qualifying is about to end here. DRS open, the final car about to cross the line. Pete Walters is going to go a 1:19.6. What a phenomenal lap time. Me? Absolutely mental. Hello, Sophie. How you doing? But what a fantastic lap. Renault have delivered.
119.6. Are you kidding me?
Renault have delivered, and that McLaren car is looking fantastic. They have bookended the top 10 with Tuzmus's accident, unfortunately ruling him out of qualifying. Absolutely mental. That car must be on rails. Is that a Scalextric's car?
He must have gotten the fan boost.
It's a dry race, Sophie, apparently. Yeah, he's got the fan boost. He went into attack mode. Yes, we all want Tuzmus to do well. We want every driver to do well. But what a phenomenal lap time for the German in the McLaren. I'm speechless.
I'm baffled by that lap time. I didn't know that was possible.
So by 8 tenths of a second, P. Walters is in P1 ahead of the Finnish driver in P2 Raikkonen. P3 is Glock and P4 is Nick. P5 is Mike. P6 is Primero, the debutant tonight. James Braden is in P7, Perez is in P8, Ollie is in P9, and Tuzmus bookends the top 10 outside of the top 10. And the free tyre choice is Liverpool, the other debutant, in P11. Honey Badger in P12. Samu and Mike Bundy did not get set lap time, but they will be allowed on track. James Braden, yeah, he has no wings. So this will be interesting for James Braden at the start. With the lack of downforce following a car, I think James Braden might be in a bit of trouble, don't you?
Yeah, I haven't seen that glitch before, so I think it's really weird, but yeah, it's unfortunate for Braden.
I often check.
We'll get some engine sounds now.
I don't think so. I often check if the settings are right on my car before I go out. No, these 3 times.
Boy.
So no Mercedes here tonight. 1 Red Bull, This is going to be a phenomenal event.
Yeah, for sure. If I had to predict the winner, I would go for Water Series. Looks like you just have some insane pace that, yeah, it's just world class over that qualifying lap that he just did.
The favourite would obviously want to be Walters, but I think it'll be fun to see what the drivers can do. Only 14 drivers on track though tonight, so there's space for the drivers who are fast. So, on to the formation lap now, as we have Walters lead us away for the first time here in the Premier Division of Season 5. What is going to come in this race? Again, we've got those fantastic wing lights on the back of the cars now, haven't we? As we see Glock getting very excited and hitting the grass with the gold and the gold and green helmet. And we have engine sounds. I just realised we do have engine sounds now.
Yeah.
So the Formula E cars are gone. They've stopped using hybrid energy for the they stopped using all the electrical energy for the qualifying. Now they're onto the full ICE V6 engines, and we can see what these cars really have to offer. I'm looking forward to this, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. Hopefully, we'll get some very, very good battles out on the track here, and yeah, really hoping for a good race here.
Just looking at Mike Bundy's helmet, running a tribute helmet, because this, I think, is, 50 years since Jim Clark won his first championship, second championship? I think it is, isn't it?
Yeah, 50 years.
So he's running a special Jim Clark-esque helmet, black, sort of like a navy blue, very dark navy blue with white stripes on it. Almost like, I think Jim Clark actually raced with a colourless helmet, just a normal blue one. But we know that Graham Hill drove with the stripes on it, same as Damon did. But Damon went black rather than navy. So as the AI takes control, heading the drivers up onto the starting grid. Hal, what are you looking for this race, and who are you looking at the start?
I'll keep my camera at Tusmus for the first couple of.
You just want to look at the McLaren, don't you?
Yeah, looking at my teammates here up in Jeep or in Prem actually.
Yes, no G in these ones. Let's see what happens. Walters beat Hamilton's pole time by half a second, apparently. P. Walters is meant to be in Formula 1. There's a secret. He's secretly Lando Norris.
Yeah, I think he is.
So, as we head towards 5, red lights are on board with Walters now. See the flashing board, and there we go to 5 red lights of the race. The lights are on, and the lights are up. The drivers are away now. It's a brilliant start from the Racing Point in P4. Nick is right there, and the Williams trying to battle along with the McLaren into P1, but it's not happening. Glock is looking for it, and drivers battling on now.
Oh, it's a big pile up in the first corner.
Who is it? It's Samu making contact with Perez. Perez on the side. Honey Badger caught involved as well. Luckily, all drivers are still going, and Glock is leading. Glock leading from Walters and from Nick. Drivers battling on now. Raikkonen trying to reclaim the position that he lost off the start as he gets closer and closer to the back of the Greek driver. Looking to the back, and drivers piling through towards Sector 2. What a fantastic start to the race, and already a crash in the Premier Division.
Yeah, and Liverpool is no front wing or damaged front wing. Oh, Premier going on the outside of the Red Bull. Can he stick it? No, he lets up the position, and now probably we'll have Mike on the back of him trying to get past him.
Looking to go 3 wide earlier on, trying to make the moves for Privero. He hasn't made the move stick on the Red Bull, but Walters closer and closer to the back of Glock. The German driver looking to the back of the British driver running a German name, but doesn't manage to get through. But what a phenomenal start. It definitely shows that Glock has got the starts down on this game.
Yeah, for sure, and it's forming a gap from Walters and down to Nick.
Oh, there's a Renault. There's a Haas story going slow. James Braden with the 2 front wings. He has the glitch. We have to be aware of that. So anything we see tonight could be that as Liverpool pits, could be down to the glitch on his car.
Front wing damage.
Oh, no. Okay, yeah, so for Liverpool.
Yep.
We had a big lag spike there for a second, a stutter, and on board now with Tusmus hunting down Mike Bundy, who's hunting down James Braden. James Braden looking to try and consolidate his move, but again, more lag from the session. Do apologise for the lag, but he's looking at the back of him. Again, Braden's going to be great on the straights, but terrible in the corners.
Yeah, Mike looking very lively on the back of Primero, and also forming a train behind Raikkonen. I think all of them are just keeping pressure on each other and maybe letting Nick run away from them a bit.
We can see what happens now as they charge up towards it. Mike is actually the closest man on track to making a move on the back of Primero. The Ferrari team looking for a second points paying position after in 2 races. DRS opening. No, there's no DRS yet because it's only lap 2. Getting a bit excited now, but the Alfa Romeo is so much quicker. Looking to the inside of Primero. Primero locks up mid corner. That's going to really affect the Ferrari, but he's able to go. The rookie driver in SFR is going to be under pressure, and Mike does not chuck it at the inside as I thought he would do there, but he's getting closer and closer. He will have the moves done sooner rather than later, though. Oh, big slide, though, from Mike. What a catch! What a phenomenal start. I want to draw our attention though to the top 2. P. Walters on the back of Glock. He's looking to the inside of the Williams, but he does not go further back. Hal, what are you looking at?
I'm just looking at the battle for the P1 right now. Waters looking very lively behind Glock and just showing himself in the mirrors and forcing him
to Tuzmus has had an accident.
Glock.
Tuzmus has a yellow front wing, or a very incredibly damaged front wing in the McLaren as he almost makes contact with Honey Badger. Honey Badger going up and round the McLaren. Tuzmus having to get out of the way as he has no end plates whatsoever. Nothing. No turning valves. Car is destroyed. Walters, though, is on the inside. What a phenomenal move towards the far chicane. And Walters does make the move on the inside after Glock has skimmed the wall. No damage, though, on the Williams so far. I need to have a breath. Whew.
Very good racing there from Waters and Glock, leaving each other space, and yeah, really good.
There you see Nick getting dragged into a thumb down. You see Primero battling on with Mike, but Mike's able to hold it down the inside. What a phenomenal little move there for Mike, the 21 car, battling the other 21 car. They're heading towards the grass. They're so close. Alfa Romeo versus Ferrari, the DRS. Whoa. The experience of these drivers heading towards turn 1 now. Primero, his first race for SFR, giving a fantastic show. Down the inside, now comes Mike, and he's ran him out wide.
It's getting forced wide.
I think you'll have to hand back that position in the interest of fairness, but, you know, actually, it's very difficult to call, to be honest. He was on the inside, and he was further enough along the inside. Primero will argue that he forced him off the inside, forced him off the track. But Michael argued that he was further enough alongside, and Primero should have been aware that he was going to go down the inside. Tuzmus in pit lane for that repairing front wing. These guys know how to make me work,
really
don't they?
Really close call between them, and I don't know what's the right one, but very good racing for a long time there between Mike and Veloce Primero.
Here's James Braden's next overtaking master, I believe, as Mike Bundy will call him, because of that disappointing Haas treatment. Maybe Haas just didn't fit the right aero kit this time. I mean, that's the excuse we'll use.
Veloce Primero's lost it out of the corner, and he's out of the session.
Primero is out of the race on debut. It might mean that move at turn 1 just flustered him a little bit, and it caused him there. No safety car deployed, though, which is a bit iffy, because that's a big accident. There should really be a safety car. Why don't we get a safety car button up here?
Yeah,
I can actually tell you why. I can tell you why there's no safety car button.
Because you would be present every time it was a collision, no?
No, actually, the whole thing, sector 2 and 3, we have a yellow flag. That's further down, though. It looks to have been... It's Tuzmus.
Oh, really?
I think he had an accident there himself. No, actually, it's the same as if... it's the same as when they do the start light sequence. Sorry, it's all automated in Formula 1. They have a box that does it all for themselves. So they press the button on top, and if they turn it off at the wrong time, it turns all the systems, the FIA systems, off. I believe I'm remembering this right. It has been a while since I've talked about this. If they turn it off, oh, my Bundy, big wiggle on the car. I'm going to stop thinking about that box now, and I'm going to start thinking about the actual cars on track. Jake Braden's doing remarkably well with that aero kit problem that the Haas team are having, aren't they? Isn't he?
Yeah. It's an ongoing trend that Haas are having problems in Australia, so yeah.
I think Australia's the only place that Haas didn't have problems, to be honest.
Well, they have had the last couple of years, but struggling to fit on the tires properly.
Oh,
so.
yeah, well, forgot about that.
But yeah, at least the teammates didn't hit each other, so that's a
Oh
good thing.
god, don't get me started. So Mike Bundy, again, he's stuck in a little bit of a DRS train. Ollie ahead in Vittorio Rosso is not helping him out at all. I think Ollie's tyres are starting to fade though in Vittorio Rosso as James Braden gets closer to the back of the Honda-powered Toro Rosso. The Italian name for Red Bull is ahead of us. So squeaks in Italian as the Norwegian tries to get through that corner. A little bit of trouble there as James Braden goes to make an overtake. Incredibly quick on the straights as Perez with a time penalty. But they both lock up a little bit and they go side by side.
Sliding. Oh,
there's a little touch. This track's incredibly low surface right now. And Ollie, he'll have to give up that position there. But this track is incredibly low grip right now. Honey Badger did a very good job to catch that. What a catch there for the Renault driver. But now Honey Badger really close to the back. As Honey Badger standing inside, and Samu bailing out of the position. He couldn't make a move. Actually, he's going to try and get a switch back, but he couldn't do anything there. Nick with a time penalty. What are you looking at, Hal?
Right now I'm looking at Raikkonen is catching Nick at a decent pace right now, so I'm guessing that we'll see him move for the P3 in a couple of laps.
Drivers getting closer and closer. Still Samu on the back of Honey Badger. No move though, as we swap and have a look at that Red Bull. Remember, Red Bull running a Honda engine now in Formula 1. And this will get very interesting to see what the Honda power unit can give the Red Bull team in SFR this year. Let's have a look at, I think that was a Renault of, or someone getting close to the Alfa Romeo, sorry. Again, let's have a look back at Raikkonen in the Red Bull. He looks very, whoa, he's struggling a bit. Again, low grip on this surface. Many drivers, I think, running little to no traction. And they're all starting to struggle. Especially, look at Glock. He's dropped way far back. And it looks like we've actually lost T. Jonas from the party. When we get a feasible moment, I will re-invite him to the party. Just give me two seconds. Whoa, as Raikkonen gets close to the wall. I am just going to invite him now. Do excuse us as the screen goes blue. I will quickly invite him as fast as possible. Actually, I was removed from the party. The stream's still going, and we have returned to the party with T. Jonas now in the team. Hello, Hal, how are you?
I'm good.
Choose Moose! Choose Moose retiring. Where was that, sector 3? I don't know if we can see that, but there is a move now as Ollie gets passed by Honey Badger. Oh, God, those Renaults are quick. Glock into pit lane. Choose Moose leaving the session, understandably going to be upset. His car had some pace this week, but it just didn't. Next week, obviously, Bahrain. Ollie pulling into pit lane as well. Drivers getting ready for their first round of stops, possibly the only round of stops in this race. Seriously, apparently there was a network issue and we got kicked from the party. Apparently I was party owner, then I was not party. Oh God, there's so much lag in the lobby.
Yeah, it was something about the network that I got an issue about. I don't know what it was.
So drivers going as fast as they can. Just realised, Blaz and Kate didn't actually join us. So now Raikkonen coming down the inside though of Nick for P2. Remember, this battle was for P3, but now it's for P2, and Nick does have the conceded position, but he's going to have to run now on the Red Bull once more as they head towards the fast chicane, but he just can't keep up behind that Honda-powered Red Bull. Just so much quicker right now as they pull into the fast chicane. I'm getting to the point that they're ready to pit for the new set of tyres. Hal, what do you think?
Yeah, the period of pit stop are starting to get to us now, and yeah, it's going to be fun to see who goes for the medium tires and who goes for the hards. From experience when they start on worn tires, it's best to go to the hards, but these guys might be better at managing tires than I am used to, so yeah, maybe just go to the medium is the quickest for these guys.
Raikkonen is now our race leader ahead of Mike Bundy. Excuse me, that was a very high pitch. Mike Bundy there. I got very emotional as I saw Mike Bundy up there. But no, TG Honey Badger, Transformation Honey Badger, has got a time penalty there, but he's not the first. And the Renault team looking strong again on the alternate strategy, so they have to get it right in pit lane.
Raikkonen's gone wide. Raikkonen's gone wide at the end of the sector 1 and lost a lot of time there. Probably quite worn the soft tires, so yeah, not good there from Raikkonen.
What can the Red Bull do? Remember, he is yet to stop, same as Mike Bundy, James Braden, and Honey Badger and Perez are still yet to stop. P. Walters as our net leader after everyone has stopped. Let's have a look at who's got the fastest lap, though, so far in the race. The fastest lap is, as I try and find it, there it is. It's currently P. Walters with a 1:24.8. That will give us the, what's it called? That will give him the fastest lap point that we are now running in SFR. Let's have a look now at Samu on the back of Liverpool. We haven't seen Liverpool all race.
Yeah, he got some front wing damage on the first lap, and after that he struggled to get up to the other guys, but he now got a battle with Samu, so yeah, at least some events happen for him in this race.
Just to be sure, the tyres next to Ollie's name does say super soft tyres, don't they? Or soft tyres, sorry.
Indeed, so he's going for a 2-stop then.
Just to be sure, Glock now the fastest man on the track at 1:24.7, showing what that Rocket Team Williams can do as they get closer and closer. Is Samu close to the back of the Ferrari? Ollie is actually now the fastest man on the track at 1:24.5.
Maybe he's going for that extra point.
Well, I think, to be honest, he's going to have to try. DRS open now on Samu. He's going to think about trying to make a move into turn 1, but now he's going to try into turn 4. He's going to have to run, and I think he's going to get him sooner rather than later. 8-lap old tyres versus new medium tyres, and then round the outside. What a fantastic move there for the Haas, passing the Ferrari. Here's Honey Badger. Honey Badger close to the back of James Braden. Remember, James Braden has got that wing damage, that wing issue with the setup, so we cannot discount him for being a little bit slower off the corners. DRS open, though, as he heads towards the inside. Honey Badger has made the move stick. And on board with James Braden now, as James Braden almost feels his tyres getting popped off the side of him. Big catch for Honey Badger, though. What a phenomenal catch.
Look at Waters is all over the back of Perez right now as well.
There's
the Haas going into the pits.
Raikkonen and the Haas of James Braden pitting at the same time. Here comes Walters looking up the inside. Walters is the fastest man on track at 1:24.3, and that has reclaimed his fastest lap point as the German comes through, and Perez is demoted to P4. What a phenomenal race. We're really on lap 11.
Yeah, and Perez now is trying to keep up with Waters, but on those worn tires, I think it'll be hard for him. At least with Waters' pace as well.
It definitely will be. I think it'll be interesting to see what Perez does. Does he go the full term and try and get to lap 18 on these tyres, or does he go to around lap 15?
I think he might have to pit soon and then go for the hard tyres as a safe strat for him.
Sophie, jumping in, our resident 100% podium record sitter in SFR, has jumped in saying that she thinks that Glock isn't going to finish the race on the medium tyres. What do you think, Hal? That's an interesting bet, isn't it?
Yeah, maybe he'll go for the soft tires at the end to secure that fastest lap as well. I don't know if he'll get the win if he do that, so yeah, it'll be interesting to see.
Unless he saves tyres dramatically through the first stint.
Yeah, I think it should be possible to go to the end, but he will have very worn tires, as we saw with JB Hogan yesterday having a puncture on the last lap. So yeah, it's risky, but it might help him off with the pace here in the start at least. He's already a pit stop in front of Bundy almost, so yeah, very good start for him.
Mike Bundy is our race leader here in the Premier Division of SFR. This is the Thursday running of SFR, now running on 4 days out of the 5 working days of the week. And what a phenomenal series we already have. We've had 3 fantastic races. I must say so that GP2 was the best, not biased, but also be racing it, was it, Hal? But we'll see what Perrier can do. You know what? It's going to be really interesting to see if Alex, who will be, I think, releasing a video at the weekend, about this week's events in SFR. It'd be interesting to see if he actually grades the races, see which was the best out of all 3 divisions, of all 4 divisions. Sorry. Sector 1 yellow flag. Liverpool is out.
Liverpool is retired for
the second debutant is out,
English
and
club.
what a sad sight to see that.
Yeah, it's not fun for him. Hopefully he'll come back at a later stage, maybe try himself in GP2. Maybe his pace wasn't that or good enough to hang in there with the top guys, so maybe we'll hopefully see Liverpool again trying out. So yeah.
Bolters on the back of Mike Bundy now. It should be a very, very, very simple move now towards the inside of the Renault, and the Renault, the sister team, does give up as the McLaren customer team comes through. Raikkonen departing on track on the soft tyres. Thank you, Lionel, for pointing that out in the chat. Very straight to Lionel, obviously joining us in the chat as he so often does for races. That's interesting. Again, both Red Bull sponsored cars, both Honda powered cars, going for the soft tyres for a second stint. What does that imply? Oh, big accident for Mike though! Mike Taylor losing the rear end. He's been flirting with that rear end all day, the same as Honey Badger has. And he's in. He's forced. Oh!
That's not.
No, that was a pretty dangerous rejoin there. And Ollie is going to be absolutely fuming, swearing in Italian plus Norwegian there in the Toro Rosso. He's going to be so upset.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for Ollie.
And that's
showing some good pace, and yeah, he lost a bit of his front wing there. So
Mike Bundy out of the race. Big accident there, and it's not even at the far chicane.
No, we found a different place to crash out this time. Really creative.
We're
stuff
getting
from
punched, you know that, don't you?
Yeah. Oh, that car's not looking healthy right now.
Which one?
The Renault.
Whoops. Damn it, these new settings. Yeah, I think Mike Tionado's car is looking worse as Nick now losing his position to Raikkonen. Raikkonen charging now, looking for the podium spots sooner rather than later. In this time, Glock has received a time penalty for flirting with those with those barriers too much. Lee now saying, "Oh, Mike." Jordan saying, "Oh, Bundy." So you can tell how the camaraderie of the admins are having so much fun in the chat.
Yeah, he'll get a couple of messages in the admin chat afterwards about that one.
I think that's a combination of worn tyres and, just high speed. And then again, the Renault's not very good at handling, is it?
Well, no.
His hands will be off the steering wheel. He'll be upset. He'll be pouting in the corner.
Yeah, it's been a difficult one for.
So now, as we go on board with Honey Badger, the sole remaining Renault is within a second of the car ahead. It is Samu once more. These guys battling hard all race long, but Honey Badger is on hard tyres, which is going to be interesting to see how obviously he's going to the end of the race as Perez pits. So this was around the time
that was hard tyres then.
What was that?
That's for hard tyres then for Perez.
See, I made it to lap 18 and I went onto the soft tyres. They were fine until I got wing damage by a certain Mercedes. Samu lagging a little bit in front of Honey Badger as he gets close to the back of. They get closer and closer. It should be a simple move again for the Flying Dutchman. Should fly right past, but look at the speed on the straights. Samu, questionable there with the moving one to the left, unless he was changing a setting in the car, but that looked alright, nothing too aggressive there with the weaving. Eyes front, says the engineer to Honey Badger as he gets closer, looking to the outside of turn 4. The Haas covering back across there because there was no real attack, and you see the Dutchman closer and closer to the Spaniard. Whoa, he cuts him off there, and Honey Badger's going to be swearing. Gonna be absolutely swearing. And you know what he'll say? He said, if you had hit me there, if I kept going forwards, you would have span out and you would have blamed me. That's exactly what he'll be yelling, just in several different other languages, won't he?
Yeah, probably in Netherlands language.
Or Dutch. Dutch as it's called.
I didn't find the word there.
Netherlands language. Is he Peter Pan? Netherlands. Oh god, we're now going to call him Peter Pan the Honey Badger. So Peter Pan the Honey Badger on the back of Samu. I can't get over that. It's very funny. Ollie finally pits to get rid of his soft tyres.
And probably changing his front wing as well.
Sophie jumping on the bandwagon and going neverish. Samu, again, questionable with the weaving there a little bit. Honey Badger weaving a bit as well to just say, wait, mate, you're weaving. Stop. DRS open though on Honey Badger's car. This should be a very simple move now. What's Samu going to do? He moves back in reaction to try and close off the Renault, and again the Renault stuck behind him, cannot make the move stick. This section here is so much quicker than him, and this time Honey Badger just lifts off that little bit more so he doesn't sit behind Samu coming into that very, very, very quick right-hander. Again, another bounce of lag. I do apologise as we head towards, as we get a wonderful helicopter shot of these two drivers coming up towards Sector 3. Honey Badger, he's so much more confident on the brakes, is the Dutchman, isn't he?
Yeah, it looks that way.
Looking to make a move, it's going to be soon. If he's going to try it, there he's closed him off. That was move in reaction to, I believe that would be the note there. I think Samu might be getting a little word from the steward saying, you can't move in reaction to a driver. You can make one defensive move, but, you know, I don't know. Yeah, is the noise I'll make there. I think you're making the same noise, aren't you, Hal?
Yeah, I'm watching it and I don't know.
He's all over the place. But it's on the straights as well. Okay, so there's one, two, three. I get that he's not alongside, he's not in the slipstream. You could say that's weaving. You could say that's not weaving. Honey Badger wide! Honey Badger out!
Honey Badger,
this is out!
Oh! That's probably some aggression from the driving, the driver.
Yeah, he overdrove that car heavily there, didn't he? He wasn't happy with what he was seeing in front of him.
Yeah, he wanted a good exit and then was too early on the power, and then, this kind of stuff happened.
It really does. Again, we're not going to pass judgment because we're not stewards. Nope. But we're still gonna notice little things and sort of like highlight little bits for the stewards on the map. So here's the Red Bull of Raikkonen getting closer and closer to the back of Glock. Glock at the back of Raikkonen, or is that Glock?
Is that Glock?
It is. Is he going slow?
Well, it's not really a battle for positions this, because Raikkonen has to stop once more, and I don't think Glock has to do that. So yeah.
Well, Glock might be close. Glock really is going to be close. I think he'll be going around. I think we're going to see Glock pit again. I really do. Because I don't think you can do 20. Where are we at? About 20, 22, 23 laps on the medium tyres.
Yeah, that will be hard. It'll be interesting to see what Waters does as well, if he's pitting again and then going for the fastest lap, but I don't know.
This really will be interesting. Oh, Raikkonen! Big moment! Raikkonen's so lucky that car's in the one piece. Two contacts with the wall there. Dirty air hitting him as we pass the marshals there. Back to green flags. And that may have just... Is that worn tyres? Or is that Raikkonen getting a wash of dirty air as Honey Badger pits? I think that's worn tyres, don't you?
Maybe a bit of both. Maybe worn tires and then getting hit with that dirty air from Glock. Oh, and Raikkonen is just letting people by at this time. I
think that will be looked at as like, yeah, he let him through because he didn't want to compromise Nick's run through the fast chicane there.
I think that's fair. That's good sportsmanship, actually. Yeah,
really, really is good sportsmanship now. As we look at Perez's back end as he's getting closer to the back of James Braden. James Braden, who's still locking up because he's struggling on those tyres there. As you head towards the lap of 19, the 19th lap of this race.
Oh, he hit the barrier! He lost even more front wing into the... He got lucky and his car reset on the track and therefore not ending up sideways into the pits. So yeah, very lucky that he's still in this race now, I reckon.
On board again with Perez as he gets close to the back of James Braden again. James Braden very, stop saying the word very, there we go. James Braden very quick on the straights. I do apologise there. I just stuck record. Very stuck record. We're trying to be serious on
Oh, it's gonna
commentary.
be
We
close
still can't do that.
with Raikkonen and Ole out of the pits now. I think Raikkonen got it.
I don't think so. He's got to warm those tyres up first, so Ollie's going to have so much more grip as he gets to the back of him. Glock with another time penalty. Ollie down the inside of Raikkonen. He's trying to hold up the back of him, and Raikkonen, on cold tyres, did very well there not to end up in the barriers with as he raced as fast as he could.
Look at Perez now.
On board with the Racing Point driver. Sector 1 and 2. Is that Raikkonen? No, it's Ollie. Ollie in the barriers there. More drivers falling foul of this very low grip surface. We've not seen this all week as Glock pits again. And Perez finally making a move, or finally attempting to make a move on Braden. Again, this track has seemed so grippy all week long, and now on the final race of the week, it's very low grip, isn't it?
Yeah, maybe the temperature has dropped and then getting harder to warm up the tires for the drivers. I don't know, but it maybe seems that way.
DRS on Perez now, looking to pass Braden. Again, Braden's so quick in a straight line with those... Oh, that's interesting. Glock hasn't gone for the soft tyres. Oh, I guess he couldn't do that because he didn't have any fresh soft ones.
Maybe. Yeah.
But he will be so much quicker. Where's Walters? What's Walters going to do?
Waters can do a pit stop now without losing any position, so he'll probably do that soon.
On board with Perez once more as he gets closer to the back of the Haas.
Ollie is into the pits.
So Ollie, it's obvious that he'll be going to do pit lane with that damaged front wing. Honey Badger is now the fastest man on track, burrowing his way through as he gets a 122.9. Perez does not like dirty air, does he? As Walters does pit. Hitting the device of the Season 3 GP2 champion, saying, yes, pit now. DRS open on Perez's car, looking to go round the outside of the Haas. Is the Haas quick enough in the brakes? No, they go very close together. They make contact there. James Braden battling his way through and getting closer and closer is Glock.
Look at Glock now, yeah, he's really close to the back of Perez and Braden. I think he'll be able to pass them quite
Whoa, no, he's not!
Oh, he's out. Oh!
That was scary.
Yeah, good catch from Glock.
What a phenomenal catch. And Perez, again, 2 tenths separating him and Braden. To tell you what, if Braden gets a podium with this, I know it's a bit of a long shot, but with this glitch, he's going to become the best F1 league racer on planet Earth. As he's closing off heavily with this damage, with this aero kit problem, isn't he?
Yeah, it'll be hard to pass him on the straights, so that will compromise the other guys' chances of overtaking him.
It's the corners that's the difficulty with that setup.
Look at Glock now going up the inside. Oh, it's just...
You can't overtake into this corner. Oh, you're going to send that driver onto the grass, as I so rudely found out.
Really close to the back of Paris now.
He's got no dirty air. He's got some good speed. What can Glock do? Ooh, close to the wall! There is contact there, and Perez is round! Twice. I think, to be fair, in fairness, Perez had space. I think that's a racing. He's onto the track, it's Perez! Oof. Is the noise we'll make there. Shouty Emote shouts back, and I waited for him to come back till the last race of the season. Last race of the season, last race of the week. Glock pouting the curve at the penultimate corner, and now he's got the run on Braden. I wonder if he'll have the same issue as Braden did. As Perez did. Perez is not going to be impressed though, is he?
No. I think Glock got the run now. Yeah.
Looking around the outside of the Haas. And Williams, the rocket car, is a rocket in the straights. Whoa, how close do you want to get there? Absolutely phenomenal! Off the track! That was a move that you see at Laguna Seca, someone taking the corkscrew so much faster, and Braden had to concede. What a phenomenal move there for Glock.
Yeah, good move there, indeed.
Oh, well, you went very composed there, so this is a good move, good move.
Did Glock hit the wall there? Maybe some front wing damage? I don't know.
I don't think so. I think he looks okay right now in that car. He's just got to control his problem with what's it called? Time penalties.
Yeah, we didn't even notice, but P. Waters have pitted from the front of the race.
Oh, I noticed. I just didn't mention it.
Oh, yeah.
What's the point of mentioning it? He's going to be out there anyway. Now, the question I want to ask is Nick. He's on 14 lap worn tyres. We're getting to the sharp end of the race now. Is his tyres going to make it? Are his tyres going to make it to the end? You think so?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Easy.
So our top three now are P. Walters in P1, ahead of Nick in P2, and Glock is in P3. James Braden is in P4, Perez is in P5 after a very abrasive overtaking move from Glock into the fast chicane. In P6 is Kimmy, in P7 is Mike, P8 is Samu, P9 is Honey Badger, and P10 is the Norwegian of Ollie. Outside of the race, scoring no points and will not make it to the end of the race. Mike Bundy, Liverpool, Choose and Primero will not make it to the end of this race. So, now we have a moment to relax as we look at the 95 car of P. Walters. He looks very composed in that car, doesn't he?
Yeah, just nothing that can stop him from taking this victory now. He's looked really good the entire race, and yeah, I'm just really impressed with his driving.
He's on rails. He really is. He's
And
just a Skeletor's car.
Look at this lap time. Oh, it was almost beating his own lap time there.
Let's have a look at who has the fastest lap time now. The fastest lap goes to right now to Honey Badger in the Renault, a 1:22.9. We'll check that at the end of the race once more to see who gets the fastest lap point. I think Glock's got 6 seconds added to his time. So that will be very difficult if he needs to break 6 seconds to Braden. I know Braden's tyre is going to go off and Braden's going to struggle in the corners. But Braden's still very quick, isn't he?
Yeah, Glock has... He has 2 penalties and 2 warnings, so if he might get another penalty.
He's got to calm it down. He's not going to catch the car ahead, not 12 seconds. But
James got a penalty himself, so...
Ah, okay. We need a little penalty counter on this. It's getting silly.
Nick has 6 seconds worth of penalties, and Waters have not a single warning.
See, now I'm rooting for him to get a warning. Don't be different. Be the same. Get a 15-second penalty and see if you can still win. On to lap 25 now, as P. Walters comes over the line. The McLaren 10 seconds away from the car behind. McLaren looking very strong tonight. Get some artistic shots here of the McLaren. Come through to one. That might have been a warning there, to be honest.
I can check it.
Sector 3, it's Raikkonen! Whoops, wrong button. There we go.
Yeah,
it's at the fast chicane. It's a big accident, not even a virtual safety car.
Promoting the... All of the drivers now just 9 finishers. As we speak.
As we speak, yeah, we've still got laps to go though. 5 laps remain of this race. I'll do the entire commentary session talking into my mug. That will make me sound fantastic, won't it?
Yeah.
So as we head to the final stage of the race, Walters still in P1, looking very handsy right now as he comes through the wreckage of Raikkonen's car. Cleared away now by the metaphorical marshals. Let's have a look at Ollie, who's down in P10. He's been a lap down now, as he now does. Take 9th position away from Kimmy, and Kimmy's going to feel very sad. There he is leaving the session. You always feel bad for drivers who crash out, don't you?
Yeah.
Especially those in the first part of the race. That's the thing for me. In the first part of the race, they've done all that practice all week long, and they get taken out in the first, or they crash in the first part of the race. You know?
Yeah, and also if you crash in the last couple of laps, that's almost even worse. Than you wasted a couple of hour or almost an hour of your life and get nothing out of it.
We waste hours of our life. Normally, we sit here shouting about racing cars and commentary. What do we do with our lives? It's even more fun when I have to explain to people. What do you do? Oh, I'm an F1 commentator. Oh, really? No, on the games. Oh, why do you do that? Because I'm an idiot. 4 times a week, I'm sat here shouting about racing cars, and today I'm doing it twice.
Oh yeah.
And I'm talking like
I've
1 o'clock in the
started
morning is my next commentary session. So, Samu.
started to do it more myself, so yeah.
Yeah, welcome to the pain of commentary. You're never going to get out of it. Samu now is hunting down Mike TMR. We've got to make sure the M is there.
Yeah, I think Samu will have the upper hand when it comes to their pace, so I think it will be close between them. It'll be fun to see.
It will be fun to see as there's a 13-second gap at the top of the table. And right now, Glock is finishing in P3 with the penalty.
Starting to become some time between the cars right now, so not that much action happening.
Most definitely not. Hello, Kevin. So 2 more laps of Raikkonen would have had a point for considering 90%. Yeah. And that's unfortunate for Raikkonen. It's always sad to see drivers struggling. Raikkonen saying there was a glitch in the pit lane, so he will probably get told off for messaging during the session. So, as much as information for us, but we are heading towards the penultimate lap of the race.
Yeah, starting to get too close of the race now.
Lee is now trying to flirt with Sophie and tell her to, Sector 1 and 2, we have yellow flags. Who is that? Is that Ollie? No, it's not.
Nope.
Sector 2? Who is that? It's Perez! Perez had a big accident himself as he cuts across the grass. It's gone from bad with that spin to worse for the Mexican driver.
How's the front wing looking?
Terrific. He's only missing half of it.
All right. Maybe he'll just go to the end of the race then.
I don't think so, because Mike TMR is only 3 seconds off him, and I did that last night, and I went from 15 seconds ahead of someone else to about, 2. Yeah. I think we'll see him pit and go for the fastest lap now. On the penultimate lap of the race.
He's out on the grass.
Yeah, he's got no grip whatsoever. He has done 12 laps on those tyres, so in fairness, for Perez, a sad end for the Mexican driver's run. And 17 seconds is the run at the top of the table right now. On the penultimate lap,
yeah,
Bottas is on rails. He's not made a mistake. See, look, he's on what's it called? There were Skeletrix tracks there. See?
Yeah.
I'm too old. So
Perez
Samu
will come out at the front or in front of Ole, so still will be a P8 for the Racing Point.
Is a long hold there. Where is Ollie? Yeah, he's long far back. Long far back? That is the new distance for Formula 1 there. Long far back. He's going to be lapped as well. Here goes Walters. Drivers charging on as hard as they can. Again, this is such an enthralling race, but we are on to the final lap of the race. Walters is enjoying that start, but this will be the first time he sees a car in a long time, and it's a Racing Point. He might think, oh, I'm lapping second place. No, well, I'll tell you what. Look at Nick. He's running 20 laps on those tyres. That is a phenomenal feat there. I would have crashed by now. In fact, I did.
Yeah, it's a good showing from Nick.
So what can Walters do? He's on the back of Perez. It's looking very much like it's going to be the P. Walters show here in Australia. Remember, next week we're heading to Bahrain, which is a very different circuit. 21 weeks of racing for these Premier drivers. And that times 4 is how many you're going to get. It's going to be a very, very busy YouTube channel. I think I'm going to have to start actually putting them into the playlists, aren't I? But P. Walters only has to negotiate a couple of corners now through Perez. Unfortunately, he's going to have to do one more lap. Coming round the final corner now, P. Walters is going to be a McLaren winner in SFR. He looks very composed, but the German does win here in Australia. What a race!
What a race from P. Waters. Very good.
challenged at the start, but after Glock pitted, that was it. Nick will finish in P2, the 75 car. No DRS. He will be behind Ollie though. Ollie is going to be weaving to finish his race, and he's happy he finished in P9. And now Glock, the man who started up there at the start, finishing in P3. That's our top three, and it is. I don't think there's any changes later on. Excuse me. Hiccuping midway through. The fastest lap right now goes to Honey Badger. We'll have a look though, because I think Perez is actually on a lap right now. Have a look now as he heads towards the break. He's 1.5 seconds down on his last lap time. Let's see what I can give him. Yeah, I think that we're going to get very close to see who gets the fastest lap now. Is it going to be Perez or is it going to be Honey Badger coming through? We're going to leave it actually on the fastest lap screen. This is now the only race that we care about because the race is over. P. Walters has won, but who's going to get fastest lap? Is it going to be Perez or is it going to be Honey Badger? Rounding the final corner now is Perez in P8. He's going to finish in P8, barring any major penalties. Honey Badger finishing, and Perez does get the fastest lap in the end. A 1:22.5.
Great lap from Perez.
I think that all the props go to James Braden, though, who finished in P4 with a front wing glitch. But there is our top three. P. Walters in P1, ahead of Nick in P2 and Glock in P3. What a phenomenal event. And don't worry, we'll see these guys in a bit, because we're going to have a podium chat with them.
Yeah, and unfortunately I have to cut you short now on the JBN. Hopefully you'll be able to do the podium interviews by yourself.
You're abandoning me.
I'm afraid I have to, so...
That's alright.
Say hi to the guys from me, and yeah, I'll talk to you later. And thank you for watching. And yeah, have fun with the podium interviews.
Well, as Hal goes off to sign several things for the McLaren team. P. Walters, these are the results barring any stewards investigations. P. Walters is in P1 ahead of Nick in P2. Glock is in P3. Off the podium, James Braden in P4, fantastic drive from him. Mike TNR in P5. Samu is in P6. Honey Badger in P7. Perez with the fastest lap is in P8. And Ollie finishing in P9. Drivers who did not make it to the end of the race: Raikkonen, Bundy, Liverpool, Tuzmus, Primero did not make it to the end of this race. Ooh, what a phenomenal event. And we will get the drivers in and we'll have a chat about what happened in that race. Well then, let's see who we can get in here. I think Nick has just left us, so we might end up with having to do it through the different ways. So P. Walters, and I think I might have them on here. I'll do it through the game chat actually. Do excuse us. For P. Walters, and we're looking for Nick and Glock. There you go, invitation sent to P. Walters. Oh, I do have him on my friends list. Oops. To highlight Glock's thing, he's a Sidemax Roadworks driver. That might be interesting to see. We do have P. Walters joining us now. I'm gonna have to invite. It looks like Nick's actually in his own party. What happens here? We do have P. Walters joining us though. This should be a nice little chat between you and me then, Walters. 1 minute. Let me just get something on screen to look at. There we go. All right. So that's not the right car. Excuse me. Walters, can I just check, is your voice at the show? Yeah, I can hear you. Fantastic. So, I believe it's just going to be you in the podium chats right now. So, congratulations on winning that race. How was it? It seemed very fun out there. Sophie's saying she can't hear you, so can we just make sure that your settings are right? Okay. Do you need me to run through it with you?
So, I should be here.
Alright, so we'll just make sure, hopefully you guys can hear. Just scream if you can't hear him, shout if you can hear him, and if you're going to shake it all about, please make sure you film that and put it on YouTube, because that's what we're doing. On screen right now, we're looking at the McLaren. If they can't hear you, just to be sure. How was the McLaren for you? It seems to be very quick for you, and if need to, I'll relay it.
Yes, I love the McLaren. McLaren is one of my favorite teams, and it's fantastic to drive for them. It's a really nice car. I love orange, and the tan is like a beauty, so I think it's a very nice car.
I'm looking at it from certain angles, it does really look like an Indy car. But yes, we can hear you. So, looking at it now, that race, you said it wasn't perfect, it was slippery out there. Would you have liked more downforce, or were you happy with the setup how it was?
Yeah, the setup was perfect, but I think in the first stint it was so slippery. I don't know why. Tires were in good shape, but just zero grip. Right off the start, I lost a place to Glock. Don't know if he had mag grip, but I was really struggling for the first few laps.
How are you excited to be back in SFR after quite a long break for the Premier Division? You're back. What is your main goal for this season? Obviously, you've already shown what you can do. Are you looking for the championship, or are you just looking race by race?
Yeah, looking for the championship. Of course, like everybody else does, but I think race to race is the best option, right?
It's always good to see what we can do with that. Next race, we're heading off to Bahrain in Sakhir. So what do you think your ultimate goal is there? Is it to win back-to-back races, or is it just to do your best at the Bahrain International Circuit?
Yeah, of course to win, but I don't like Bahrain. I'm always struggling there, don't know why. But looking forward to it.
So your teammate unfortunately crashed out. Is there any thoughts that you could have? Are you going to talk to him and see if you can try and improve on his setup, or is you just going to leave him to it and just try and see if he'll do it himself?
Yeah, well, I don't know him, so I think we won't talk.
He's a very lovely guy. I can let you know that.
Okay, yeah, but when he asked me, I can give him some tips, but yeah, don't think this will happen.
So, I'm trying to think of questions that we haven't asked you, purely because you're the only one in here. Did you watch any of the other 3 races that were streamed on the YouTube channel, or did you just try and focus on your own? Weren't aware that there were other things going on the channel?
No, I don't watch any other races on YouTube, just my own race.
Oh, well, I was racing yesterday. You could watch mine because you're nice.
Okay.
But nonetheless, well done on winning the race. Again, an astonishing lap time in qualifying. How do you do it? What did you take off? Did you forget the engine?
I don't know. I really don't know. Qualifying was always a struggle for me in the previous game, but at this game I'm really comfortable in qualifying, but have problems in the race, so can't really explain it.
Maybe it's just the McLaren.
Yeah, it's the McLaren. That's it.
Well, we will see you next week on Thursday for the Bahrain race. Good luck until then, and have some fun practicing. Make sure you drink a lot of champagne.
Yeah, I will buy it next time. Okay.
Oh, he's buying everybody. He's going to buy for the whole league. Yeah, all 60
Yeah,
drivers.
no. First three.
Oh, so not me then. Okay. Well done, sir. You're now free to go. Do whatever you need to do tonight, and have a very good night.
Yeah, okay, then a nice evening to everybody, and goodbye.
Thank you so much for joining us. All right. So we'll look forward to SFR resuming next week. Next week, SFR's off at the Bahrain International Circuit, as I mentioned at the start of the show. We'll be headlining by GP4. They'll be starting us off in on Monday night with James doing commentary. Tuesday night will be me doing commentary for the GP3 division. GP2 will be headed by James on the stream. And then Premier, I will see you all again on Thursday. Nonetheless, though, I hope you have enjoyed this first foray into the 4-division series of SFR that is Season 5. Have a very good weekend. I will see you next time. Hope you all have some fun. Enjoy the Hungarian Grand Prix and Formula 1, and we will see you next week for Bahrain. Have a very good night, folks, and we'll see you later. Ta-ra, guys!